Greetings and welcome to the first edition of a experimental show I'm trying to call Deezee REacts. While I'm generally not one to do reaction videos, I've found myself as of late journaling about shit I've seen on YouTube as well as Facebook and Twitter. Most of the material I am able to use for either The Daily Show, The Daily Five, or any of my other shows. But more often than not, I have a lot of ideas in my journal that I never get to use because the ideas don't fit the format of the previous known shows that you've seen me on. For that reason, I decided to create this show, to give those ideas I don't get a chance to really share with you guys a platform to be heard on. So today's reactions are based on a Twitter feed from December the 13th from a group I follow on Twitter called Six Brown Chicks. And yeah, I just plugged them. Anyway. In traditional Deezee style, first one goes like this. My baby mama, graduated from college, has a job, takes great care of our son. Her older sister fights, has prison tats, smokes all my weed, and is destined for welfare. But I love her raggedy ass, and I spend more time with my son just to see her. Interesting stuff I find. And these are my thoughts on said idea. So you go to see your son not because you want to properly help raise him, but because you want to lay with his aunt. Interesting. Because I'm guessing by you wanting to spend time around her, you ultimately want to lay with her. Otherwise, why you even hanging out with her? Okay, so here's what I'll tell you. Yes, Jacob was able to pull off the idea of being with Leah and Rachel, but the likelihood of the aunt being, the likelihood of you being as honorable as Jacob is, that's not that likely. Hell, you won't even go see your son for the right reason. So why would you do right by his aunt when you aren't doing right by your son? Because again, you are spending time with your son just to see the aunt, his aunt, who is the sister of your lady. Because I'm going to guess that you're also having sex with her too. I'm just guessing. Anyway, forget the fact that she smokes herb, or smokes all your herb. You're not fit to be with her, and you're not fit to be with any woman because you have no honor. So that's all I got to say about that. There's about I should have mentioned earlier that there's about 8 of these questions. This is number 2 of the 8. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm still working with that cough. Sorry, y'all. I lost my job, and my girl hooked me up with a gig at her workplace. My girl getting fat from working in the kitchen, she's a turnoff. So I hooked up with our manager. I got more hours. Sex is better, and I really don't want my girl working at the place anymore. Okay. My thoughts or my reaction. Okay, so your wife, because I don't really care for the term girlfriend. Your wife got you a job at her job. You are now suddenly turned off by your wife's having gained weight from working in the kitchen, as you say. I gave her quotation marks because I'm believing that it's not that she's gained weight necessarily from being in the kitchen, as it is stress is a mother in the system. So I'm really believing that she gained more of the weight, if she really gained the weight at all. She gained more of the weight, excuse me, not if she gained the weight at all, but I'm refusing to believe that she gained the weight mostly from eating and more from the stress of your bullshit. Anyway, and yes, I guess I should have told you by now. Yes, I'm using colorful language. That's what type of show this is. A show where I use my general colorful language. So if it's not your thing, I understand. But this is who I am. Outside of the message, this is generally who I am. Anyway, moving on with the rest of the show. So now you've started a sexual relationship with your boss and your wife's boss, Hope. Now it's well known that I am a huge supporter of polygyny, which I am, but, bruh, what the hell are you doing? I'm going to sound like I support monogamy in the modern Christian sense, even though I really don't. First problem, which is the major problem. You broke your verbal contract with your wife, who you call your woman, when you went into your manager, your and her manager. I'm certain that you didn't make it known to your woman what your intentions were. Had you told her your intentions, based on the way you're describing your situation, I'm believing she is a Christian woman who believes in the idea of one man, one woman. As false as it is, this is what I'm believing she probably believes. If she does believe in this, then hold up. Okay. Yeah. If she does believe in this, the acknowledgement of said belief means you had at very least a verbal contract with her that you would not lay with another woman. But clearly you could not honor that contract because you're laying with your and her's boss, so you have voided that contract. So now you want someone to counsel you through a new contract that you signed behind your wife's back. Fuck out of here. No. It's not bad enough you are mentally verbally abusive to your wife by looking down on her weight gain when it's probably behind your ass. But you also do not honor contracts you sign. You truly are a ricassa. And if you're not familiar with what a ricassa is, which I'm confident that you're not, a ricassa is what you would call in church a demon, bro. Use a demon. Next. Some of y'all. Yeah, now I sound like my other cohort, huh? Anyway, number 3. From a lady. I don't like starting no mess, but my husband of 2 years is still sleeping with his ex. She exposed him via FB Messenger. Sent me nasty pics and all. I said nothing. A month later, I slept with her man to get even. She told my husband he wants a divorce. I love him. Advice? Okay. Your husband of 2 years has been having sex with his ex-wife. The same ex-wife revealed that the two of them were still intimate, even though I'm guessing your husband has said he wasn't. As a result of the revelation of your husband's ex-wife, you decide to enter into adultery and have sex with the husband of with her husband. Okay, yeah. See if we can get all this together. You've decided to go and have sex with her husband since she's having sex with your husband. After all this, your husband's ex-wife tells you that your husband wants a divorce because he found out about your adultery, yet you love him. Okay, the only way I can address this is to go straight Torah, which obviously I've been doing Torah since we started this about 2 minutes ago. Now 11 minutes. Okay, I'm believing that your husband, as well as your husband and yourself, as well as your husband's ex-wife and her husband, all got married at some church in insert the name of the city, United States. That being said, you all got married under the philosophy of Jesus. So, for lack of better wording, you're all Christians. At least on paper, you are. On the document, you're Christian on the document. I am certain someone is going to tell you to go ahead and all y'all divorce and switch spouses and be happy. But this will not change the spiritual reality that all 4 of you are screwed for the eternity according to Torah. Not according to Mike Deezee, not according to MD, according to, I believe it's book 2, Leviticus, that gives the specifics of what is and what is not adultery. What I mean is, contrary to popular belief of what the pastor's going to tell you, adultery, according to God, according to Leviticus, that long conversation between God and Moses, if you don't believe in all that, fine, get out. Am I here to preach to you? Although it does sound like that, not really. I'm just stating the facts I know from the book I've read that you can read too. You just probably don't. Anyway, according to Leviticus, adultery is a married man knowingly laying with a married woman, and certainly a married woman laying with any man. As for what is not adultery to God, in the same book, is a married man laying with an unmarried woman. When the husband lays with the unmarried woman, God only says, take care of the bed you made. In other words, no matter how the woman feels, and yes, we recognize the sister isn't exactly going to be happy about the man's actions, the reality is that if the man does not take care of the women he lays with outside of his wife, then when that man departs from the flesh life, he will first have to pay for not doing what God said or what God made clear about taking care of the women he's laid with. As he'll have to take care of that, pay for that as a spirit before he can even enter the heavenly palace where God sits. If the man and the woman in this marriage situation are of no religion, then all these words that were just spoken do not apply to you at all. You just do what the hell you want to do and call it a day. Because, yeah. When you go, that's a good way to put it. For those of you who saw the Avengers, not that I really care about the film, but for those of you who saw the Avengers, the scene where Hulk just, hold on, let me see if I can find something to give you an illustration. One moment. Okay, imagine this is Loki, and Hulk is just, that's it. Hulk is gonna be God. Loki would be you, just being tossed all over the fucking place. Because when you go to spirit life, that's how God's going to have the demons treat you. Because that's how little He cares about those who violate His rules. Again, like Deezee didn't say, it's in the book. Trust me. I didn't like it when I read it either, because I got burned in a few places myself. But that is what the book does say. And yes, this full-blood headbanger is down with what God says do. I don't have to like it. I just gotta bow down. Anyway, on to number 4. So it says, my housing plans fell through, so my friend let me stay with her. I spend my day looking for work while she's at work. She doesn't charge rent, but expects me to cook, clean, and take care of her ugly child. How to explain her demands are damaging our friendship. You want to know how to express your feelings to your friend. Let's start off with how you call this sister your friend and describe her child in such an ugly fashion. You're staying at her house rent-free, and you got the nerve to complain that the lady is asking you to be a basic righteous human being and cook while she's at work, clean while she's at work, and watch after the child while she's at work, when all you're doing is looking for work. So what you're saying is that you don't give yourself breaks in between searching for jobs on the internet. You just sit at home on the internet all day, which is more likely her internet that you're not paying for, because remember, you ain't got no job. So, yeah. You are using all her stuff and wanting her to just be chill with you. Please. No. How is her request for you babysitting damaging your friendship with her? A friend would not complain about this simple request. A user, on the other hand, which you are, would. So, yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. Number 5. 2 years ago, I had an affair, and I'm embarrassed. Are you embarrassed? It was wrong. It was wrong. After the birth of our son, my man, or her husband, and her are really bonding. Problem. Each day, her son, looks more and more like the guy that she had the affair with, that she calls a fling. And she's certain that the son is not the son of her husband. And she wants advice. My reaction. Same thing I just said about question number 2. That just apply that to yourself. Same book of Torah makes it very clear: a woman that dishonors her parents or her husband's house is not a woman of God that God cares about. After just display with the little pencil thing, yeah, that's how God really feels about that. Again, not my Deezee, it's God, or God should say. Well, I'm pointing down more referring to scripture than anything else. So those of you who try and say I'm referring to the so-called God below, that's not a God. That's just a fallen angel. Sorry. Next. As for the son, the natural father will have to answer to God about not being a father to his seed and teaching his traditions to his son. But as for the mother, all I can say is just live your life. That's it. Ain't got nothing else for you. Number 6. So my man and I got pulled over. I said the drugs were mine. It was his. Or the drugs were his. I was sent to jail for 6 months. He never visited. Never wrote. I got out and found out we lost the house and he moved on. She wants, excuse me. She wants to know how he could be so cold-hearted. She also wants to know how to get him back. Okay, so a cop pulls your son over and you're in the car. Cop asks who the drugs belong to, and you took the fall. Hold up. Why in the fuck you take the fall for him? Next, why in the hell did you? Why'd you take the fall for him? And what's with having the drugs with you in the first place? I'm guessing you have a regular drug habit. Otherwise, why the hell you got the drugs in the car in the first place? And another thing, why with someone who does drugs? Just accept that again, you are partaking in the same thing he's involved in. Therefore, why are you really complaining? There's no point. There's no reason for you to be complaining. You mean to tell me you mean to tell the world that you couldn't find a guy that doesn't deal drugs, a guy that's decent? You had to find this guy, okay. Again, you partake of the drugs. That could be the only other reason you would have drugs around you in the first place. So you took the fall for him and went to jail for 6 months. Clearly, being in jail did not serve you mentally, because when you got released, you're hurt because your husband didn't come see you and allowed the house you both had to be taken again. This is who you chose to be the leader of your house. No. No, this is stupid. And to top it all off, you seriously want him back. Okay. Yeah. Got no. 7. I visited my boyfriend's family for the first time. As a child, his nickname was Sweetness. He said it was after an NFL player. Which one? His brother said it was good to finally see him, the new man, bring home a woman. I asked him if he is bi. He said sometimes. Okay, so the brother of your betrothed told him that it was good to see him, your betrothed, bring home a woman. Did you really need to ask your betrothed if he was sexually interested in men? Unless the two of you only been talking for a few days, how did you not notice any signs that he was interested in men? Now, before anyone asks, am I homophobic? Answer is no, I'm not. What is my stand on gay and lesbians? I ain't got one. Now back to the subject. Lady, I refuse to believe that you didn't see any signs that your man was interested in other men. What I'm going for and what I'm sticking with is that you saw the signs, yes. You just chose to do one of these numbers. Mentally, you did one of those numbers. That's all I gotta say about that. 8. She moved to Atlanta for work and was lonely and hooked up with a group of women on Meetup. She met up with several married women who toasted once a month. She made friends with them. But the group also gets into excuse me, lesbian play, according to her. She participated in this lesbian play 3 times, but she did, but she says she doesn't like it. Okay, you moved to Atlanta for what? For work, and have found yourself meeting up with a group of women that, as you say, are into lesbian play. You know this because you have joined the ladies on 3 occasions. If you joined the ladies on 3 occasions, how can you say you don't like it? That you didn't stop after the first time. You went back for a second and third time. Obviously, you're enjoying the lady. You're enjoying what the ladies do. You say you just want friendship. If this is true, why did you go again the second and third time? If you weren't interested, again, you wouldn't have returned. What I'm trying to understand, outside of you being confused, is are why the 3 ladies are meeting for sex play together when all all of them have husbands. Nearly everything they are doing as a group, their husbands can do, or should be able to do at least. Anyway, either stop going with the ladies in this thing y'all doing, or continue on and shut the fuck up. Anyway, that's the end of this pilot show. As always, if you liked what you saw, click the little red button for this show and all the other shows on this lovely network called Video Network. Anyway, like it if you like it. Comments, yay, nay, something. Comment down below. Or, as always, yeah, that. With that said, deuces.